No, this script was written before the mid-chapter update, so don't freak out that that one killer that you love went from A tier from D tier. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about what I think about killers and their mains, like a lot of other DVD YouTubers right now, because I'm not that creative, just look at me. Well, my PNG. Anyways, like, subscribe, and let's get into this. Trapper. Personally, I think Trapper just needs a rework or a major buff because right now he basically sucks. I don't care if you say, well, if you do this and that. No, if you have to do quite a bit to make the killer useful, it isn't a good killer. And the mains are either new players that saw him on the art as the main boy, so they think he's probably the best. Players who have 500 hours on the game and all the cosmetics. I refuse to believe that there's anything in between. So, I say like C tier for killer? Let's move on. Wraith. Wraith can be played in many ways from his add-ons, but mainly I like to use the ones that increase in cloaking speed because I like scaring them by popping out of nowhere. But that's besides the point. Anyway, he isn't very good compared to all the other killers because he suffers from being one of the original killers and has a very simple power. But the Wraith is the only killer other than Myers that has a lot of add-ons that change his gameplay a lot. The chances of Wraith that they are either a bing bong boy or toxic douchebag, there is barely anything in between. A very common thing among us, though, is that when the rare event happens of them getting a down happens, they ring their bell for a few seconds. But anyway, I say he's like upper F tier. Hillbilly. Hillbilly has become more of a meme killer than anything. In fact, on my first vid that was on playing Hillbilly, I had someone try to turn me into a Skybilly. And I want to be the one, it's just that I'm too lazy to. But when the Billy is in being a memer, he could be a literal god that's one with his chainsaw and hits shots from across the map. Also, Billy is illegal to M1 on. You can't change my mind. Billy is my second favorite killer because of his meme ability. Let me look this up. Yep, according to the Urban Dictionary, it is in fact a word. So, you know what else is a word? Subscribing. It's a pretty Chad thing. Yeah, sorry, I'll stop. Anyways, Billy is B tier. Nurse. Nurse is interesting because unlike the other early killers, she has the opposite problem of the others. Instead of being weaker than a lot of the killers, she's actually much stronger than a lot of the killers. In fact, she is only sometimes competing with Blight and Spirit. Emphasis on sometimes, because 99% of the time, she is almost undeniably the strongest killer. But when she has a huge skill curve that causes there to be a few types of nurses, which are god tier nurses that can predict your every move, or the nurse player that needs to have played flannel, and is very few nurse mains in between those two. But this isn't any flax towards noob nurse players, because that's who I am. Noob nurses unite! Nurses S tier, if that wasn't implied, by the way. Myers, or the Shape. Myers is an awesome killer in my eyes because he has the most ways to play him, from Scratch Mirror to Tombstone. And I believe more killers should have add-ons that change the way they are played. But besides that, he is weak because of being in the old killer club. And that's more surprising because he was the first licensed killer, so you'd expect him to be very strong, like competing with Nurse. But anyway, Myers players seem to be mostly new to the game, that were introduced to this game because, you know, Myers, and everyone loves Myers. And then there's people who play Myers, but then there's like a few toxic Myers mains, but they're like so small that I don't think I've seen one in real life, or in game would be more accurate to say. But I'll say he's B tier. Hag. No, I'm not talking about your mother, I'm talking about the killer. But seriously, Hag all around isn't that good. She was only brought into the game to introduce hexes, so she probably wouldn't be made if not for hexes. Now, there aren't any problems with making a killer to introduce things, but you have to make the killer like any other character, with good lore and abilities, and sadly behaviors failed this time. One thing I really like about her is her add-ons. Waterlogged Shoe does what I want more killers to have on their add-ons. Can change the way that they play. And truthfully, I feel like whoever plays Hag is either a YouTuber who's getting bored of playing every other killer and or an absolute Chad for playing Hag. Like, I truthfully respect you guys, and you guys are usually the highest skilled players. I do say C tier. Doctor. Doctor's more of a killer for new players because he's great at slowing down, because once they hit Madness 3, they need to snap out of it, and it takes a long time. But it's harder for new players because, they probably aren't going to hit all the skill checks, so they will show themselves to the killer. But if the Doctor player isn't a new player, they are super toxic and only use the absolute meta. They're basically the opposite of Myers players, except they're used by new players. Anyways, let's say C tier. Huntress. Before we actually talk about her, can we talk about the fact so many people are so down bad for her? Like, Jesus, she's a literal fucking murderer with probably hundreds of kills under her belt. Just stop. Hey, so this is post Ghosty, and I'd like to say, I've played Hooked on You now, link in the description. So, you simps, you stay as you do, but like, I understand how you feel now. Just ignore everything I've said about Huntress so far, but everything else still applies. Anyways, let's go on. Anyways, back on topic, Huntress was the first killer that can throw things as an hatchet. People enjoy her a lot because you can relive the old Call of Duty days with those sick cross-map shots. The only true reason people play her is that they either saw a YouTuber hitting great shots or are the YouTuber. Now, to be more specific, the main types of Huntress mains are the noobs who can't hit a survivor standing still, the toxic that if you slam one pallet on them will immediately let you bleed out, and the gods who can hit a shot from a small hole in a rock all the way across the map and can reshape reality to make you get hit behind a wall. Anyways, S-tier killer is what she is. Bubba, the cannibal. Bubba is the type of killer that is all around good. He has good perks like BBQ and Franklin's for doing a little bit of trolling. Has some of the best anti-loop. In fact, people hate how good his anti-loop is, to the point where most people want him to have a rework. Lastly, he is a pretty fun power, at least for the killer. The most famous kind of Bubba players are the chest protectors, or what are better known as basement Bubbas. People hate basement Bubbas, but here's the thing. It's easy to defeat a basement Bubba. Do you want to know how? Just leave the person in basement to die and complete the gens. Also, some interesting things I can do to defend them is that in the newest Texas Chains Massacre, Bubba is sort of a camping basement Bubba, and 2 is that basement Bubba are not born, they are made. Anyways, the other Bubba mains who play him wrong are the noobs who enjoy the easy kills, and the people who overdo it by using only the build that lets you get a 4K so fast you can spend more time in the queue. I'll say he's probably an A-tier killer. Freddy the Nightmare. Freddy used to be a very broken killer, but now he's just useless. Freddy sucks because his power is just a trap that can slow down a little bit, or he can use an add-on to change it to make a fake pallet that survivors can pull down to slow them down. The only way that he can become viable is making the Dream Pallet Space Kit and letting people use both. Also, his add-ons either are useless or just suck. And the types of Freddy mains are none. There are absolutely no Freddy mains, and truthfully, I've only ran into 2 Freddys. Only 2! And if that isn't implied, I think he's F tier, obviously. Amanda, the pig. Amanda is one of the only 2 killers that can crouch. Actually, she was the first killer that can crouch, and if you use the add-on combat straps, you can almost teabag at people. She has a very original power of being able to put traps on down survivors, and when a gen pops, it starts a countdown that if the trap isn't taken off of the survivor, it will kill them. Now, can we talk about how much it must suck to be a pigman? Because you are expected to let people boop the snoot every single game. I bet you guys really want a serious game without everyone in the endgame chat saying, "Why you no let me boop the snoot?" Really, there aren't many other pigmains besides that and the noobs who only crouch anywhere, trying to surprise people on gens or something like that. I say B tier around Myers because it depends on RNG. Clown. People hate on the Clown a lot, but personally, I think Clown is a very fun player to play as and against. His power is that he has 2 kinds of bottles. One is Afterpiece Tonic, that when a survivor goes into a cloud of purple smoke, they will be slowed down for a little bit and will have a distorted view. Or you can choose his Afterpiece Antidote, and when thrown will start out as white, but a few seconds will change to yellow and activate the effects of moving faster. Also, everyone gets affected by Afterpiece Antidote. In terms of clown mains, instead of equal opportunity cosmetics like all the other killers, the mains are separated in four main groups. 1. The clown/elephant clown mains. They are more of memers than anything, and I've noticed that they have some of the most confusing plays I've ever seen. 2 is the blighted clowns. They are more serious and play very good and tactfully. 3 is the mythology-based skins, more scary skins. They don't play as tactfully, but it is more likely that they'll play the most god tier build possible and only change it to whenever is stronger. Lastly, I say he's below Amanda in B tier. Spirit. Spirit is one of the only killers that competes with Nurse, and whenever she's nerfed in a lot of ways. So now, to counter her, you just need to have an okay headset to hear the noise that is made by the spirit in the spirit world or whatever it's called. Talking about headsets, the people who play Spirit must have an echolocation with those Abyss AB1266s. If you don't know, those are like super expensive headsets, like $5,100, and they're really nice. Today, because you need to read the future to know where the survivors are, since the spirit world you can't see them, but you can see blood moving grass and you can hear them. The kinds of spirit mains are the sweaty ones that are doing 360s, the ones who just try to go as fast as Flash with her add-ons, and the weebs who just got happy that there was a schoolgirl. Anyways, she's an S tier, obviously. Legion. I'm not even gonna lie, the Legion is just punk and edgy Ghostface that made people overhyped at the announcement trailer, that made people think their power would be like similar to Spy from TF2, but sadly it was all thrown away as fast because all they do is go fast and they can do deep wounds. I can say people were really disappointed by it. But anyways, Legion mains are more casual all around. Yeah, there's the sweats, but mainly a lot of Legions are more casual than anyone else, so I'll say that he is in B tier behind Billy. Plague. Why the hell have we turned a rotting corpse of an old leader into Vommy Mommy? Like, Jesus, this is the worse than sexualizing Huntress, because at least she's alive. But you guys think a moving maggot-filled corpse is hot, you gross weirdos. Anyways, the Plague has the weirdest power because she throws up on people and things to infect the survivors so that they are forced to clean off in fountains. The fountains, after being used to clean, will immediately be infected, giving the Plague her bloody throw up that takes the health state away, as in healthy to injured or injured to downed. Plague is more of a lower tier killer, so people have really tried to win and in turn are less casual. Most Plague players really know how to play her at a higher point that they haven't really been able to see except for clown players. Anyway, I say highest C tier. Ghostface. If you play Ghostface, you are an absolute Chad, like big dog energy. You are god tier. But seriously, Ghostface has some problems, like the messed up reveal system. Like sometimes you can get revealed from like halfway across the map, or a survivor can be picking his teeth in your face and not be revealed to him. But besides him, I personally want to rework outdoor security camera so that instead of doing what it does, it makes it so you can't stalk, but you can activate stalk to see people's auras in a certain radius, sort of like Scratch Me or Myers. See, I ain't gonna lie, the basically only meme, it seems that there are more memers Ghostface than any other Ghostface main. I say below Billy and B tier. Demogorgon. Oni. He is one of the few killers that is more ancient and is actually the I don't know how many more greats, grandfather of Spirit. So that's a common fun fact. His power is that he can absorb blood from injured survivors to charge his rays that lets him pull out his demon strike fast. Oni mains are usually less casual, which makes sense since you have to be skilled to use Oni's power consistently well. So I say like A tier. Cassidy is great. Wait, this isn't the Overwatch script. Oh, right, Slinger. The character has been nerfed so bad that he's only useful if you have the ability to see the future. Right now, he's only Antelope if he has something like Ormond that is short things that he can name over. But even then, people can loop you too easily. Right now, just having a gun isn't useful enough. Come on, Deathslinger, I'm not mad that you're disabled. I'm just disappointed at your slow speed. And in terms of Slinger mains who are noobs that saw that he had a gun and was like, ooh, money brain like gun. Wait, money? That's monkey. God damn it, past ghost, you're so stupid. And sorry. Or they are masochists, nothing else is on the table. I say the top of effing sucks here. Pyramid Head, the Executioner. If we're talking about cake size, this boy would be an S tier. But we aren't. In terms of power, he is a lot. Granted, not as much as Spirit or Nurse, but he is very good. His power is basically put a knife in the ground and summer bone or blood and barbed wire that hurts survivors on the ground. And if they run into the stuff you left behind, they get to go into the fun time cage that is basically a hook. Also, interesting fact is that if you get too close to the fun time cage, it will move to another place on the map. And the mains are people who came to DBD because it was licensed, and the gods who have a third eye that can see the future despite Pyramid not having eyes at all. I think he's A tier. Blight. Now let's talk about Speedy Boy. When the nurse was turned off for a week or two, Blight players were creaming their pants because they finally had a taste of being the best killer. But sadly, of their hand damage, they couldn't see the fact that she was going to be turned back on. Just like your mother when I visit again. But seriously, Blight is one of the best killers in the game, and Blight players are split between memers that use the slow Blight build, and the sweats who only use perks in the way that to always see you if you do anything except go into a locker. No, I'm not salty, you are! I say yes tier, obviously. Twins, 404 error. Just kidding. I think it isn't controversial at all to say that the Twins are the worst killers in the game. And before the 4 diehard Twins fans send death threats in the comments, and in my subreddit, r/abused_ghosty, would love you if you joined it, the killer is so bad that you got a nerf. Like, Jesus, it's bad when the creators of the game decide to make her weaker. And if you somehow don't know their power, it's basically you can turn into a baby named Victor and jump like a frog onto your face. Yes, that is basically it. Back onto the 4 Twins mains, there's obviously First Day Player, Masochist, Professional Player, and Masochist but blue. Obviously an effing sucks tier. OMG, is that Korean Joker Majima Dio femboy K-pop man? Wait, no, that's just Trickster, never mind. I truthfully think that even though he isn't a god tier killer, personally I think he's really fun to play and to face. My favorite part about him is that you can completely change the gameplay with his add-ons, and that he is a very balanced power of having to hit multiple times with his blades, but if he gets one away from damaging a health state, he can hit insta-down. But the 3 types of mains are Korean band boy, friends? What the hell, Ghosty? That's supposed to be... That isn't supposed to be friends. Let's just move on. Super casual players, and drop from the 2nd floor of mid-witch doing a 360 to get a single blade hit. A tier is what I command. Nemesis. Nemesis is a pretty basic killer, with a tentacle that a lot of people can make an inappropriate joke about, but he only uses it to infect survivors or destroy pallets and walls, and he has 3 tiers making him consistently stronger. Similarly to Pyramid Head, Nemesis mains are either people who join the game just because of a license, or do it because of the tentacles, or they are Potato Legion. I commendeth B tier! Cenobite. He came! Oh my god, so funny! I think the Cenobite's most interesting thing that he can stop people from exiting the gates, and that he has skin that is another Cenobite. If you are good with his power, Cenobite can be great, and he has pretty normal skill curve. The main type of Cenobites are the people who just want to hear the voice, I came! That is the main reason people keep him. Nothing else close. I ask him to be in the popular not A tier, B tier. Artist. Ah yes, the killer that was interesting for a month but then forgotten about. It didn't help that the artist's backstory sucked and had a power that was okay to have people be excited by cross-map shots for her first time in her limelight. Personally, I think that she just sucks, and it didn't help that she was right before a licensed killer. That will be next, don't worry. Artist mains are just YouTubers and people trying to hit the across map hit F tier plus is what I say any day. Sadako / the Onryo. She prematurely killed the artist, then died a month later herself because everyone noticed she had a lame power that was just the love child of a bunch of killers. So, by trying to be a jack of all trades, she ended up obviously being the master of none. Her special power is being able to mori someone who's fully condemned, but it's so rare that it barely ever happened. But luckily, I did it in my first game. Main-wise is just someone trying to get her perk. I refuse to believe that there's anything else. I say the top of C tier, I guess. I don't know. Dredge. This man, it's not a man. Let me say this again. This thing is pretty cool and creative character. I love everything about it. Absolutely everything. Let's start with its power. I think that it isn't just a teleport power, but he can also move to any locker on the map. Also, there's an easy counter to the Dredge that is the locker, and doing this slows down the Dredge from exiting the locker. Next is the design and mori. The design is so awesome. I love the idea of a monster that adds all of the victims to himself. In fact, I loved it so much, I plan on adding it to my D&D character. That's how much I love Dredge. Anyway, the mori is just god tier. I especially love that Dredge pulls the survivors into it. It's a little bit too early to say anything about the main right now, so I'll just say YouTubers and people who don't fully understand Dredge's power. Here at Ghosty Studios, we give a guarantee that we will believe the Dredge is A tier. Anyway, if you want to see me suck at games live, I stream on Twitch under Abused Ghosty TV. I'm once again asking for a like and if you subscribe. Also, it would be very sexy of you if you followed me on Twitter at @GGhost. But if not, I'll just be here chilling and killing. Ghosty out. What? There's a new killer. Alright, mastermind. Oh, I know. The mastermind. Choke me harder.